Hey there, fiber friends. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about wool, specifically the different families of wool breeds. So a lot of times on my lives I talk about long wool breeds, fine wool breeds, all of those things. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth today and explain exactly what I mean when I talk about these things. So since they are the grouping of breeds that I get kind of the most questions about, surprisingly enough, I am going to start with the fine wools. So I say surprisingly because if you've been on my lives, you know I never recommend that beginners start with fine wools, and there's a few different reasons for that. So when I talk about fine wools, usually I'm referring to a lot of the sheep that hail from the Merino bloodline as their base. A lot of folks know Merino as being super soft. The fleeces are very densely packed, some of the most densely packed actually, and the way that the fleece stays clean is that they're very, very high in grease. So when you're processing a fleece and you buy a raw fine wool fleece, a lot of the times you can lose up to half of the weight in your fleece after you wash it. So because Merino is so well known as a fine wool, it's usually a lot of beginners' first wool that they want to pick up. They know that it's soft, it comes in a lot of wonderful colors. However, because it is so soft and because the staple length can be on the shorter end, and I don't generally recommend short staples for very beginner spinners, these are some of the reasons that I recommend instead beginners start with what I call a medium wool. Especially if you're considering buying a whole raw fleece and processing it for the first time, I really don't recommend fine wools as they are a little bit more prone to nepping, tangling, and felting compared to some other wools. However, if you are going to be sourcing some fine wools and you are looking to open up yourself to things other than merino, I highly recommend trying out something like Rambouillet, Debouillet, or the Santa Cruz Island sheep. Not only are some of those sheep rare conservation breeds, so it's important to support the farmers, but I also think that in terms of beginner spinnability, they're a little bit easier than merino. In the next episode, I'm going to be going in depth on what exactly defines a medium wool breed and some medium wool breeds that I suggest for beginners.